Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number 1, Pope Leo says that marriage is only possible between a man and a woman. Does this mean that the Catholic Church is going against woke now? I'm not sure because the church has recently been authorizing gay blessings. I think it's possible he might be telling everyone what they want to hear, so they keep the collection plate money flowing. As for this announcement, how is this even news? Must be a rather slow news day. Up next, here's the latest fashion trend. $27,000 intestina jackets that make you look like you're wearing your guts on the outside. Maybe some women will wear this in the forest to attract hungry bears or something. I also wonder if this comes with anal hand warmers. Those will be practical and stylish too. Obviously, this is overpriced. If you want some original roadkill fashion, then just scoop up a stylish raccoon carcass out of oncoming traffic. If you get hit, maybe they can turn you into a pair of pants. Number 3, I'm glad to see Brendan Fraser looking like he's in good health again. Maybe we now need a new mummy movie. This time they could set it in one of the pyramids in Mexico or something. At the very least, this makes me want to rewatch the original Mummy movie. Benny is still my favorite character in the entire franchise. I wish that somehow he made it back for the second and third parts as well. He was the best comic relief. For those that are too young to know what Fraser is doing, he's holding up a film reel. Moving on, men are refusing to give CPR to women because they're afraid to touch their breasts. It's her life, but it's our choice whether to save it or not. Ladies, you made your deathbed. Now lie in it. There have been many cases where the women made false allegations when a guy tried to save her life. Guys are making the choice to save their own lives instead of the life of a female that's a perfect stranger. I can see women soon suing men for not helping them. Number 5, Ma'am Danny, probably the future mayor of New York, is pissing off Italians by giving the finger to Christopher Columbus and his statue, and he wants it taken down. Not a smart move. Italians run NYC and the infrastructure. He's done without getting them on his side. The more you learn about this guy, the more you hate him. He also probably wants a statue of a Muslim hero put in Columbus's place instead. We were never supposed to forget 9/11, but it looks like we did. Up next, the Jeets are everywhere, including Malta taking all the low-skilled jobs. Restaurants, gas stations, everything. The sooner we have AI robots doing the menial jobs, the sooner the Jeets can all go home. Many young people in Europe can't even get jobs dishwashing. The governments don't care. They're just keeping the businesses alive by helping them import cheap labor. Meanwhile, 10 Jeets are living in one apartment pricing out the locals out of basic housing. Number 7, isn't it obvious by now that if Sydney Sweeney was an A-cup, most people would just ignore her, because she's the average-looking chick. This should prove to women that curves without being fat or overweight, with an average or slightly above average-looking face, is what men really want. Women value themselves higher if they have a nice face, but most have no idea how important C or D cups really are to men. Big boobs also make up for a lack of personality and good looks in the other departments. Moving on, this picture proves that Bezos is the king of the cucks. Here he is hugging Lawrence Sanchez's previous family. It's clear that this billionaire is just beta bucks. This is also probably taken on his mega yacht. He should be hugging his own family instead of hers. This has to be the greatest example of how money doesn't make you a man. This also makes me wonder if they have a corner chair in the bedroom as well. Just because a nerd gets money doesn't mean he's not a dork anymore. Number 9, this powerlifting influencer, Steffi Cohen, was arrested on domestic violence charges. Is this because she has too much testosterone from roid rage? She also looks like she's gonna love being in prison with all those bull dykes. She also finally looks like the man that she's always wanted to be with. Remember, ladies, that if you want to be muscular, manly, and abusive, that a man is not a costume for a woman to wear. Up next is the most important thing you learned in public school, that you're at the mercy of the lowest common denominator, and that everything goes to the bottom quarter of society. You pay taxes for their welfare, they will be the ones that rob you, and most public spaces are mostly used by the poor, even though you're the one that has to pay for them. No wonder the wealthy try and avoid as much tax as possible, especially the nerds that were abused by bullies from poor homes growing up. Number 11, going back to Bezos, just remember that women play men the way that men play the stock markets. Here's the Amazon stock price and where Mackenzie married him versus where she divorced him. She timed it perfectly the way that a pro trader would. Divorce is how 90% plus of the wealthiest women make their money. Many women will say it's only fair because women have to live decades in some cases with men they don't find attractive. like living in a Turkish prison for 30 years or something. Moving on, New Zealand has gone insane, deciding to charge Maori businesses 18% versus white ones 28%. It makes sense. They're trying to make everyone equally poor. Wait until governments start charging men more in tax as well. You'll start to see an exodus of men from Western countries. Funny enough, the Maori ended the indigenous population of New Zealand about 500 years ago now, and stole the land, and yet white Europeans still feel guilt for ruling the country. Number 13, here are 3 immigrants just trying to make a better life for themselves. Actually, they're more like political prisoners seeking political asylum. The Superman story is a direct commentary on our society. Superman assimilates and defends his new home, but Zod wants to bring the failed customs and culture of the old world to the new one. Kinda like the followers of a certain sand-based ideology. But I would still definitely kneel before Zod. Up next, Peru has classified trans people as mentally ill. Should America do the same? Yes, but it won't happen because the American Psychological Association declared sexual deviancy to be normal because most of them are sexually deviant. The only reason mental disorders have gone mainstream in the West is because the lunatics are running the open-air asylum that we call Western civilization. Also, this picture makes me wonder if she's flipping them the bird. Number 15, in Iran, they definitely see trans people as not only mentally ill but as criminals too. More than 100 trans inmates were ended after Israel struck an Iranian prison. I didn't even know they have trans people in the country. Sorry, how insensitive of me. I didn't know they had traps in Persia. I think that most of them were gay men who were forced to transition or face execution. That's why they were trans. Moving on, this Texas man was arrested for charging illegals $200 a pop to guide them to asylum towns. But instead he led them to ICE deportation centers. But how is that even a crime? He was being a good citizen and helping the state take out the undesirables. He's like an immigration bounty hunter. The real crime is not paying $1,000 a head. What I want to know is, what's the charge? Eating a meal. A succulent Chinese meal. Rest in peace, King. Number 17, we're now living in a world where the OF girls have the audacity to call women with morals pick-me's. But do you really believe this? Because, from my experience, there isn't a single woman out there with morals these days that isn't begging for money in one way or another. Unless, of course, the man she's with is a Chad, and she doesn't want to risk losing him. The truth is that it's an attention and money-based economy, and women are willing to tear each other down to get the advantage. Up next, which path are you choosing? The thighs or the boobas? Both are important, but the chesticles are obviously the priority. For me, the face is the most important, then the boobs, and then the bottom. If her face and boobs are good, and her behind is subpar, I don't care. But these days, guys are more desperate for female validation and attention than ever, and will gladly go down any path where they can get a simple hug. Number 19, this man was found to be missing 90% of his brain, but was somehow still living a normal life. I guess this proves what they say, that you don't use 90% of your brain. Also, this man was also found to be very active on Reddit. But wait a minute, this reminds me of that image of Homer's X-ray. I had to check to see if it wasn't actually the same one, and it wasn't. When people say we only use 10% of our brain, what they really mean is that we only use 10% in any one given time. Moving on, remember that 97% of climate scientists agree that they don't want to be defunded. If rising sea levels due to climate change were a real threat, then the elites would have sold their beachfront properties a long time ago. Remember to always follow the money and not the science, especially when it comes to health and diet research. That one guy that was going around telling everyone that they were eating too much fat and that it was causing heart disease, when he died they opened up his pantry, and they found tons of bottles of olive oil. It was all a grift. Number 21, what's stopping you from moving to London? Is it all the enrichment? How about the lack of free speech in England that's so bad that I won't even risk a layover because they might arrest me at the airport for memes? Other great reasons to stay away from London include high real estate prices, high crime, and it's a Muslim nation now. It's like a gayer police state version of the film V for Vendetta, except without the cool Guy Fawkes masks. Up next, in case you didn't get enough Sydney Sweeney, which one would you rather prefer, the small or the big? I think that most men would agree that bigger is better when they're younger, and that smaller is better when they're older. Because who wants a 50-year-old woman with fun bags that point to the floor as if they're looking for quarters? The way to have big ones that never sag is if they're fake. Then the woman can stay thin and have big fun bags too. Win-win. Number 23, which one of these two do you prefer? The thin woman on the top or the Oompa Loompa on the bottom? I prefer something in between. On the bright side, at least neither of them have any tattoos. Also, I'd pick the one with the better looking face because anyone can get thin these days. The top one is great to take to parties to show off to people, but the bottom one looks like she'd be better in bed. Decisions. Moving on, what makes women instantly unattractive to you? For me, it's the boss babe attitude. Other obvious things include being liberal, having weird hair color, tattoos, being a single mother with a niglet, and being a feminist. Those are just a few, and I don't have time to list the rest. The better question to ask is, what are the qualities in women that make them attractive to you? Usually there are far few things, and 99% of women these days don't have them. Number 25 and the last one, here are women's dreams at 25 versus 45. She goes from no man, no problems, with tons of vacations to eventually asking where have all the good men gone and why are they all taken. The only thing that's missing in the picture on the right is a cat and a African. The irony is that a 45-year-old man is probably married living the life of hell and soon to be divorced living in his car. If women treat men like background extras, then they shouldn't be surprised when we walk off the sets. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal subscribe star links below. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.